In the quiet halls of justice, where the law is supposed to protect the innocent, what happens when the killer is the judge? Tonight's thriller comes from one of the masters of legal suspense, John Grisham, and the novel is The Judge's List, a story about power, secrets, and a predator hiding behind a black robe. And once you realize what's happening inside this book, you won't want to stop listening. Let's step into the case. First, a quick overview, no spoilers. The story follows Lacy Stoltz, an investigator for the Florida Board on Judicial Conduct. Her job is simple in theory: investigate corruption among judges, bribes, conflicts of interest, ethical violations. But nothing prepares her for the woman who walks into her office one day. The woman claims a sitting judge is responsible for multiple murders. Not one, not two, but a long, carefully hidden list of victims. And the worst part? There is no proof, no witnesses, no direct evidence. Only a chilling pattern and a man in power who has spent years perfecting the art of getting away with murder. If the accusation is true, they are hunting a serial killer who knows the law better than anyone trying to stop him. And if they're wrong, they could destroy an innocent man and their own careers. The investigation begins quietly, but very quickly, the hunter may realize she has become the prey. So what will you discover inside The Judge's List? First, you'll experience the slow, creeping tension of a legal thriller turned serial killer hunt. This isn't a courtroom drama filled with speeches and juries. Instead, it's about investigation, following whispers, patterns, and tiny clues that begin to form something terrifying. A judge who selects his victims with care, who plans every move, who knows exactly how investigators think, and who may already suspect that someone is getting close. Second, the book explores a fascinating idea. What happens when someone who controls justice uses that knowledge to escape it? It's a chilling concept because the system designed to catch criminals may be protecting one, and that tension runs through every chapter. Now let's talk about the strengths of this novel. One of the biggest is atmosphere. Grisham builds suspense with patience. Instead of constant action, he lets dread slowly grow like a storm forming on the horizon. Every new clue feels dangerous. Every step closer to the truth feels like stepping on thin ice. Another strength is the psychological cat-and-mouse game. The investigators are smart, but the killer might be smarter. Watching the pieces move into place becomes part of the thrill. And for audiobook listeners especially, the pacing works beautifully. The chapters feel like carefully timed beats in a long, escalating hunt. Of course, no thriller is perfect. Some readers may find the pace methodical rather than explosive. This story prefers tension over non-stop action. If you're expecting car chases and shootouts every few pages, this one may feel slower. But if you enjoy suspense that builds like a tightening knot, it's incredibly satisfying. So who is this book perfect for? If you love legal thrillers, investigative mysteries, or psychological cat-and-mouse stories, this novel will absolutely pull you in. Fans of Grisham's darker work will especially appreciate it. And if you enjoy stories where the villain hides in plain sight, you may find this one deeply unsettling. Who might want to skip it? If you prefer fast-paced action thrillers with constant twists and explosions, this story's careful pacing might not be your style. It's a slow burn. But for many listeners, that slow burn becomes the very thing that makes it unforgettable. Because, as the investigation unfolds, one question grows louder and louder. What if the evidence finally appears? What if the judge realizes someone knows the truth? And what happens when a serial killer in a position of power decides to protect himself? That is where the story becomes truly dangerous. If this mystery hooked your curiosity, you'll find the full audiobook of The Judge's List linked below. Listening to the complete story lets you experience every twist, every chilling clue, and every moment of rising tension exactly as Grisham intended. And if you enjoy suspenseful audiobook breakdowns like this, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the best thrillers, mysteries, and psychological page-turners. Because sometimes the most terrifying criminals aren't hiding from the law. They are the law.